Hello and welcome to Happily Ever Reality. I am so glad that you're here. Today we are talking about Christine and Kody from Sister Wives, and we're going to go way back and talk about a scene in the show where Christine and Kody talk about their wedding day.
There were a lot of things that we figured
just
out
do different.
now that we would have done a lot different.
Yeah.
In that clip, they're talking about their wedding day, but I feel like Kody and Christine could say that about a lot of things in their relationship. I think it sounds like the wedding day was just the start of something that wasn't quite right for the two of them.
Christine flirted a lot with me, and I fell for it.
I am sure many of you have already noticed this, but when Christine and Kody retell the story of like how they met in their marriage, there is always a certain thing that happens with how Kody describes it, and it's always how much Christine wanted him. You know, there's that infamous nacho story where Kody saw Christine eating nachos and he wasn't attracted to her. And there's always the stories of how Kody wasn't attracted to Christine on their wedding day. This is just another example. Christine was flirting with him a lot and he fell for it. It's not that Kody wanted her or Kody thought she was beautiful or, there's nothing there that says Kody wanted her. It's how much Christine wanted him.
We were really good friends for about 3.5 years. We were
We met,
good
we
friends.
just hit it off.
Though I did like this moment, I felt like when they were recalling the beginning of their relationship, they both looked really happy, including Kody. Like, he's smiling when he says that they hit it off. It seems like there must be some fond memories of those early days.
And I always wanted to be a third wife. I figured that it would be the one that was the easiest.
So Christine has talked about this idea a lot of being the third wife and why that is the best wife to be. And she has her reasons. And one of them is that the second wife is the person who sort of has to, do what has not been done before. They have to go into a relationship where there's previously been one man and one woman, and that's the first new wife. So there's going to be a lot of hardship and awkwardness, and Christine never wanted to be the second wife, but she thinks it would be good to be a third. I wonder if Christine considered being the fourth. Like, we hear her say, I always wanted to be a third wife. Did she know there'd be a fourth? I wonder if Christine thought she was really going to be the last wife. I can't recall her saying that on the show, but this show's been on so long. It's very possible. I just don't, I've forgotten. So let me know if you guys ever heard her say that she wanted to be the last wife. Because there is a part of me that thinks if you're determined that you need to be the last one to make it work, then maybe polygamy isn't for you. If you go into polygamy, I think you should be prepared to be the last wife and possibly not be the last wife. You have to be able to be wherever you are in that order. I think Christine felt like she was going to, come into this and it would be easy, but also, you're going to get a little bit more attention if you're the newest wife. And maybe Christine knew she needed that, so she wanted that spot in the family. And then we know Robin came along and that shook that up. So what do you guys think? Was Christine wanting to be the last wife, or is it really just number 3 that was important to her?
And when we decided to get married, like many plagues do, you just don't take time to get married. It's awkward for the wives to see a courtship and all these things.
So Kody is saying that they basically have to kind of jump into the process of getting married. There's not a lot of dating. There's not a lot of time to be super romantic because that's awkward for the other wives. And I can't help but think this, from the beginning, this was a part of the problem. I think Christine really wanted romance and something special, and it just didn't happen like that for her. And I think she's hurt from the beginning. And I don't necessarily know that it was super deliberate from Kody. It was just the circumstance of what was happening. But we know now Christine wanted more. But I don't think she knew she could get it. I think she thought she would be in a polygamous family, and so she thought this is what it is. And so I just think there was hurt feelings from the start.
We literally got engaged and set a date, and you went off planning it, and I continued working, and we weren't even near each other. We were in two different states.
Try to imagine that. You are seeing someone, you're starting a new relationship, you jump into a marriage proposal, you're planning your wedding, and it's not just that they're far away, because that happens. Life happens, and sometimes your partner isn't near you. They have to go away for work or whatever the situation is. But they are away because they're actually with their other wives. Like, I cannot even imagine that. I can't even figure out how I would feel, because she knew that was what she was getting into. So I'm like, she couldn't have been super sad or upset, but it's so far from what I have ever experienced or want to ever experience in my life that I literally can't imagine it.
It was a hard month prior to coming down from Wyoming to my wedding in Utah. And I had a 1,000-yard stare, and I wasn't engaged into the experience. It was hard.
When Kody talks about his wedding days to his wives, this is something he frequently mentions. And that is, when you're getting married to one woman, you can't really focus on her because you're worried about the other wives and what they're thinking. So he actually says this about his wedding to Janelle, Christine, and he says it about his wedding to Robin. There's an episode where he says that he doesn't feel that sort of intimacy you should have when you're marrying someone. And it's just because there are other wives that are there and they're also watching.
Our wedding day was sad. It was a little bit sad. I hadn't seen Kody for a long time. We'd just been talking on the phone. We hadn't connected. I hated my dress.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
so sorry.
That's all right.
When I watch Kody on this show, I often think that he doesn't understand human emotion very well. He doesn't have the ability to really empathize. But when he is listening to Christine talk, he seems to really be listening. And his facial reaction, he responds with his face. To me, it does seem like he's really sad that Christine wasn't happy on her wedding day and she didn't feel good in her dress. I do think they both realize sort of how badly it started. You know, how badly the whole relationship began as far as spending time together and making sure that their wedding was nice.
We just did not make a big deal out of any of it. None of it.
When we got married, the culture was really about exonerating the first wife and keeping the second, third, or however many wives sort of quiet.
So there you have it again. Kody is pointing out that basically the first wife is going to get this wedding and it's going to be celebrated, but everything coming after is just not going to be that big of a deal. And we know, though, that between the third and the fourth wife, so between Christine and Robin, they really came out publicly as a family and told everyone that they were polygamist. So there was a change that happened between Christine and Robin. And so Robin ends up with the very traditional large wedding with a big reception, where Christine doesn't look back fondly on her wedding day at all. So I just think there continues to be more and more added to this. And I don't think Christine was really able to let go of some of these things that happened. And Kody points that out, like, she's still holding on to these things. I don't think she was able to let go. I think there was a sadness that she really still has about all of this. And I don't know that there was an answer to it. The answer might have been that this didn't last for them. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is rooted in there with anything that's going on now? Or do you think this really was put in the past? To me, this is just like a big bucket of stuff that happened in their relationship, and it finally overflowed and she chose to leave. So I do see the wedding being a part of why their relationship ultimately didn't work in the long run. It was just one of many things.
Polygamists lived in secrecy, social stigma, jail, felony, legal repercussions. A plural wife was always kept a secret.
Kody just further reminds us of the fact that he was hiding essentially two of his relationships. You know, he felt like he did not have a choice to share what was going on in his life with Janelle and with Christine.
So I was part of that mentality. I was there with not telling my boss that I was off to my own wedding.
It's really easy to forget that this family had a life before the show because they've been on TV for so long. But there was this existence before Sister Wives where they were just normal people living a very unusual lifestyle. And Christine and Janelle probably have some things to say about those years, you know. And I mean, they're doing it here, but I would be interested in knowing the real scoop about how they functioned in public. Because Kody wouldn't have taken them all somewhere, I'm guessing, if they were in hiding. So how did they ever go about making those years feel fair? Like, they're saying it feels unfair now. It would seem like back then it would have been way worse. The only thing different was Robin wasn't a part of the equation.
Us going public and being public has made it so I am a wife everywhere I go.
It must have really felt like a positive change in Christine and Janelle's life. It must have felt like they were making some sort of progress. And I think when that happens in a relationship where one thing is going really good, but there's something else that isn't working, it sometimes puts that stuff that's bad, it kind of puts it away. It kind of, it's not brought to the light because so many positive things are going on. You don't want to go digging up the old bad stuff, but unfortunately, it is still there. And I think with Christine and Kody, there was just stuff in the relationship that wasn't working. Even if progress with the whole polygamy in public thing was being made. Certain things were going good, but there was still this underlying dysfunction in this relationship.
I'm not ashamed at all because I'm a wife. And I wasn't that person before. I couldn't be that person. And I'm sorry, but most people, most women in plural marriage have a stigma of shame on them because they can't really own who they are.
Polygamists often talk about how they feel shame or they have to hide or it's illegal. Take the legalities out of it. As far as them hiding and feeling ashamed, I don't know how everyone else feels about this, but if they want to be in that relationship and they're willingly choosing to, and they are adults and they are doing this consensually, then fine, go ahead and do it. I think the part where people look down on them a little bit, at least this is how I feel, is because I don't know how you really maintain a healthy relationship like this. So I'm not necessarily like looking down upon people who practice polygamy, but I'm definitely questioning if they're really having healthy, happy relationships. I just think it would be incredibly difficult. So I'm glad this show helped them. Maybe it's helping other people who are living like this, but I also think that people living in polygamy should understand most of us question how good these relationships are working, like how healthy they are, and if the children are really getting everything they need, if their father is being split between different families and different homes. So I don't know. I just thought it was really nice to look back and see their wedding day. Unfortunately, it wasn't positive, but I'm not surprised either. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. If you haven't already, please click like and subscribe and come back to Happily Ever Reality if you want to find out more about Sister Wives and other reality TV shows.